So, in the hashtag before times, one of my favorite things to do with my friends was to have a couple drinks and go sing karaoke. Definitely need the drinks beforehand. Can't do sober karaoke. I'm not that ballsy. But I want to know, is this something that you guys like too? Is this something that we can have pop culture junkie karaoke night sometime soon?
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm so for it. Actually, when I moved to Arizona, I was pretty much doing karaoke like 3 times a week. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I felt like it's the only way to perform. And I have like a list, like a Spotify playlist of karaoke songs. And sometimes I just like prep it. You know, there's like music blasting. I'm over here like trying to like listen to my like on the speaker of my phone, like really close, but like also trying to be inconspicuous so nobody knows I'm trying to like prepare for the stage.
What's your go-to karaoke song? Or at least maybe top 3, because it sounds like you have a lot.
Yeah, it does kind of depend on the mood. I like, because the playlist has like Frank Sinatra, James Brown, David Bowie, but my top 3, Love by Nat King Cole, Undone, spelled Nudun, by the Guess Who, and I Got You, parentheses, I Feel Good, by James Brown.
Nice.
Impressive.
I like it.
It's just me yelling at a mic. Really. And there's like sound in the back to cover some of it.
He sounds great. Oh, wait, that's just the music playing.
Yeah.
What about you, Nicole and Hayley? Do you guys like karaoke, and what are your go-to songs?
I love karaoke. I haven't been in quite some time. But, I mean, I've never been. I always did it, like, with the karaoke machine I had when I was a kid. But now that I'm older, my go-to song is definitely I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston.
Yes. I love it.
Shoot, I think I've only actually been out to karaoke, like, twice. And it was at Dave & Buster's. Used to do, like, rooftop karaoke. And back then I sang Journey, and I think I sang You Were Meant for Me by Jewel. That's probably the route that I would go. Yeah. But now, I mean, I'm down. I'm married to someone who wouldn't be caught dead at karaoke.
Neither would my husband. So absolutely not.
Yeah. So I would need a crew to roll with for sure. And then I'd bust out some Backstreet Boys or something now.
Oh,
yeah.
We're big enough for that.
Oh, yeah. And then you can't tell if one person is off pitch or if one person's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah. That's great. My mom used to host karaoke nights at several restaurants in like the Boston metro area. So my dad was the supportive husband who didn't sing and just got the free drinks.
Every time I think of karaoke, I think of that scene in My Best Friend's Wedding with Cameron Diaz, where she's just like absolutely awful and it's making your ears bleed. And I just think, I just don't want to be her in that moment. So it's kind of intimidating, but you know, I used to sing and play guitar and have like a CD and stuff, but karaoke for whatever reason freaks me out.
I feel like there's less pressure. I think that's why I like it, because people expect you to be bad, and I can be really bad. So it's just fun. And you're right. You just got to like have enough encouragement, liquid encouragement. This is
very true. If we need just someone from the group to do it, I'll be your person.
Okay, let's do it. Last time I went, I sang Goodbye Earl by Dixie Chicks, and that's an amazing drunk karaoke song.
Great song.
Drunk karaoke. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's the only way I'll do it. It's just like, you know, when you first get there, you're like, oh, no, I could never. And then it's like 2 tequila shots later, like, give me the songbook. Where's the songbook?
Coming in hot from the Valley of the Sun.
It's the Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Welcome to another all new, all bold, all exciting episode of Pop Culture Junkie Podcast.
Yeah, all the things.
What? I am Shauna Trinidad, and I am joined by lots of other junkies. Who's here?
This is your girl, Nicole Eldridge. Hello, everyone.
And Hayley the Brave Tracy at your service.
And you can expect me, Alex, to be here as well.
Hello. What's everybody been up to? What's everyone watching? What's going down, clowns? That was terrible. Sorry. I'm never going to say that again.
Nicole, I know you and I have been mutually geeking out over the Benson and Stabler reunion on Law and Order SVU. We got to talk about it.
Oh, I'm down. Where do we begin? Let's just talk about the opening, actually, when she gets to the call. And I just had a feeling it was going to be someone she knew, but I did not know it would be Stabler's wife.
Oh, right. Yeah. I had heard, interestingly enough, that the plot of this return in this crossover episode, they went through like 10 different versions of the script because it was supposed to film pre-pandemic and then everything got shut down. And originally, I think it was supposed to be their son.
Oh.
And there was a draft where they were divorced, where he and Kathy were divorced. So, yeah, I mean, I knew they had to kind of write his wife out somehow so that it could be his show.
True.
But yeah, that was pretty shocking and just, oh my gosh, so many emotions. And
I know.
that hospital scene where they're confronting each other about how Stabler abandoned her. Man, my heart was breaking.
These two are from different shows, right?
No.
Oh, I thought they had like a crossover special or something.
So this one, yes. But
Okay.
like back like 15 years ago, they were on Law and Order SVU together. They were partners. But then he like abruptly left because of contract issues. And then he's now finally back. Like I think it's 10 years later he's back.
Wait, who's he?
Elliot Stabler, a.k.a. Chris Maloney.
Elliot Stabler. Oh, Maloney.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Olivia Benson is the main character. She's captain of SVU right now. But her and Stabler were partners back then, and they were literally the show. So it's really good to have them back.
I never got into this, like Law and Order.
Me neither.
Like Crime Junkies, I like true crime. Yeah, that thing.
Me too. I like true crime, but like SVU and stuff,
though,
like
right?
I can see. Well, it's fiction, so like I could see how it's like popular, but like it just seems like there's so many freaking episodes I wouldn't even know where to start, and like so many spin-offs and everything.
There's 22 seasons of SVU, which makes me feel like I'm 1,000 years old.
Yeah, it's an adult. Law and Order can buy a drink with an item.
Yeah.
The good thing too, though, is if you do want to watch it, you don't have to watch it from the beginning because every episode is different and not every episode does not follow like the previous episode, if that makes sense. So you can literally jump in whenever you want, which is really cool. But some of them are based on true stories, but they just kind of fix it up a little bit so it's not literally a true story. Like they had a Chris Brown episode, but it wasn't technically Chris Brown.
Like Chris Brown, Rihanna?
Yeah, so that was an episode, but they didn't literally come out and say, hey, this is based on Chris Brown and Rihanna's situation.
This is like a famous like musician who like...
Yeah, it was a famous rap, but at the end he killed her instead of like just beating her.
Shit.
Yeah.
You got to make good TV. You got to make
Escalated quickly.
No, people have to die, apparently.
You got to make a little change.
So Benson and what was the other character's name?
Stabler.
Do they do it?
So, oh man, I've got so many thoughts about this. Okay.
I was going to ask you about this.
The important question on everyone's minds.
So Stabler is married. In the original run, the original 12 seasons that they were partners, Stabler is married. And it's pretty clear over the course of the 12 years that they're partners that they love each other. And Mariska Hargitay, who plays Benson, like she is the captain of the Benson and Stabler ship. Like she has admitted multiple times that Olivia was in love with Elliot, that they were closer than they should have been. And that's part of why Elliot leaves. So it's never explicitly said. A lot of people have fan theories that like they banged in season 7. I don't necessarily think that that's true. But
that makes good TV too.
True.
Banging always makes good TV.
I think that now that his wife is out of the way, now that she died, they're setting it up. I know that sounds horrible. I'm so callous, like she's out of the way. But the reality is it's been 22 years. So something needed to happen and needed to change in order for these two to finally get to hook up. So I'm hoping.
There's like this whole time gap since since they last were on the show to now.
Yeah. 10 years.
And has no connection with any of the other shows that's ever happened.
No.
Okay.
Because it's all based on SVU.
Organized crime.
Organized crime is a very new one that Elliot Stabler is now the main character of.
Is that
There's like criminal intent, just regular Law and Order. But
Isn't
I
there
only
like
watch
a Law and Order
SVU.
Chicago or something too?
No,
Yeah,
there's
see,
a
that's
Chicago
another part of
PD
the
that's
TV show.
based
Oh, that's
that
right.
is by Dick Wolf as well.
Oh, there you go.
I think now that Kathy Stabler, aka Elliot Stabler's wife, I think she kind of said it in the hospital room a bit that she knew there was something between them, and I think when she was dying, I think she kind of came out and said that she's okay with them
God.
ending up together.
What a terrible
Because she
thing to
knows-
say to your spouse on there.
She's
I'm
kind
about
of
to
just saying like it's
die,
okay
but-
to be with the person who you like truly want to be with.
Here's the thing. He and
God.
Kathy got married when they were 17. They got married when
Yeah.
they were 17 years old. They almost split up multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And they stayed together because she got pregnant. And like it insinuates in the show that they ended up moving to Italy and they like patched everything up and they've been living happily for the last 10 years as a family. But it also the hospital scene, she's talking about Olivia's there and his wife, like as she's dying, is like, you mean to tell me that you didn't talk for the last 10 years? I thought Elliot was lying to me. Like she thought her own husband was lying to her for the last 10 years.
God. This all reminds me for some reason of How I Met Your Mother and how, like, spoiler for a show that ended years ago, but how the mother dies in the end and then Robin and Ted can finally be together. Like,
Oh, God.
oh.
It's like that if you wanted Robin and Ted to be together.
God, I
then it would
hated
be
that
like
ending.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Do you want Elliot and Olivia to be together, Haley?
Yeah. I'm a hardcore like
Same.
EO is endgame. Like
Yes.
I haven't, I didn't watch for the last 10 years. I would tune in intermittently, but I didn't watch once Stabler left. And one of my best friends, he's like a diehard. He's watched every single
Same.
episode. So he catch me up on everything.
Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
I
they're
want
like-
them to get together.
They're
Me
like
too.
detectives, police officers, right? That's what they are.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so now he's heading up organized crime. So he's getting his own show. And then the two shows are going to cross over every now and again. But it was a huge event. I mean, it pulled in the highest ratings for SVU
Yeah.
like in the last
Dang.
4
Wow.
years or something.
Interesting.
You're bringing back the OGs. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I find it
exactly.
funny that he went to Italy and is now working on organized crime. Like, oh, you have all the
Yeah.
experience. You're like hands-on mafia life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was doing stuff over in Italy for stuff. He was working with like I forgot
Terrorism
who,
and
but
stuff, I
Yeah.
think.
So he was doing stuff out there, and then he said he had a case in New York, which is what brought him and his wife back to New York. And then Olivia Benson was actually having an award ceremony that night. Her other partner, Finn, he invited Elliot, and they were on their way there. And Kathy opened the car door, and there was a bomb attached to the car, and the
Oh
car
my
blew
God.
up. So
It's so dramatic. I love it. The drama.
Always. See, that's what I like about fictional crime, though, is like true crime, like not to get all like drag the episode down for a second, but I have had two friends who have been murdered. And so like true crime, it's like sometimes it's hard because I'm like, y'all are celebrating like the killer, like
Yeah.
these Jeffrey Dahmer documentaries and stuff where I'm like, I don't care about him. Like, I don't,
Let's
I
not
don't care.
romanticize him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas SVU, like, yeah, it's fictional, but especially Special Victims Unit, more than any of the Law and Order shows, I think really focus on the experience of the victim. And a lot of times it is inspired by, true stories. And there's been a lot of people coming out saying that, like, them telling those stories on air made it so they felt
Yeah.
comfortable to be able to tell their own stories of, trauma and abuse and stuff. So for me, I'm like, fiction is my realm where I can feel comfortable and like cathartic, but not have to get like too heavy,
yeah.
You know what true
That makes
crime I have
sense.
been watching? The Derek Chauvin case. Kind of like in and out. Oh,
man.
They got like extra videos and whatnot. Like it's so crazy that like the defense is over here trying to blame like all the like people watching and saying that they're like, making it dangerous for the. It's just I'm interested in seeing what's gonna.
Man,
result.
I could
Yeah.
have a whole episode just about that, but I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, I agree though. Like, it's nice like to watch the police shows and things that are like fictional because then you don't have to like think about crappy police relations with like the public can be in real life, and it's like I can watch Lucifer. Speaking of sexy, steamy, fictional police shows, do you guys watch Lucifer? I don't know if I've ever asked you that, Haley or Alex.
I do. Yeah, I love Lucifer.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Such a funny sentence. I love Lucifer.
Hey, Lil Nas X does too. It's chill. Yes, no, I do too. And they finally announced that season 5, part B, I think, is coming out in May. So I'm super excited to get my.
So do I have to like flip my like DVR upside down to get it?
Yes.
Like, is it
it'll
side B
be on
like
Netflix.
Part B like side?
Let me see the exact date because they did just announce it.
Is it Lucifer on Netflix now, or because I feel like it was like network and then it got canceled and
it
picked
was on
up.
Fox, right?
Exactly.
I think it was on
Yeah.
Fox and then Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they canceled it, but then the fans really had such an uprising, like save Lucifer kind of thing,
Alex.
that it was renewed by, or I guess bought out by Netflix. And really, it's funny, like when you watch, it's all on Netflix now, but when you watch up to that point, and then you can tell when Netflix bought it out, because all of a sudden we see Lucifer's ass and the violence is a little more bloody. And they don't have any F-bombs or anything, but you can just tell. I'm like, okay, now this is a Netflix show.
Yeah, that's funny.
And I am here for it. It looks like it will premiere on May 28th to complete the 5th season. And then at some point, the 6th season will come out, and that will be the last season.
Dope. All right, that's not too much of a long wait, but
yeah,
it's sad that it's the last. It probably needs to be anyways. I think so. It's based out of a comic, and I mean, I've never like read the comic, but I wonder how much of the comic book is even in the current series, and how they'll add that to.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I agree, though. Like, I'm glad that it's not going to be dragging on, because I think that's just the worst thing for shows is when it, like, they move way past their expiration dates and you're just like how I feel about The Flash. And I know I talk shit about The Flash, like, every week. But, God, like, I just want this show to end already. Just have your series finale, you guys. Like, dang, this is like the quality just goes so downhill. It's like I loved how Breaking Bad just went out while it was still such a good show. That's the way to do it, man.
That's how I feel about The Americans. I know I've talked about that before, and I will eventually coerce you all into watching it. But that's one of those shows where it was like you're so sucked in and looking forward to it every week, and then it ends, and you're almost like you're like pissed that it's over. And you're like, come on, but then you have no bad memories of it. There's no, that episode was kind of slow, or, this plot line started to drag or whatever. There's none of that. It's just, it started great. It kept going. And then it ended on the absolute, like, best possible time. So
see, I love that. That's exactly how I feel about Breaking Bad. Like, I was just telling my husband recently, like, okay, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite TV show of all time. But I think, in my opinion, the best TV show of all time is Breaking Bad.
It's
just
so good.
From beginning to end. Just
so what do you
amazing.
Feel about the movie that came after that? Was it El Camino or something?
So I watched the movie, but I'm going to totally out myself. And I just admitted this to my husband, like, when we were like in the last month talking about this. We watched El Camino together. I don't remember a thing. I was drunk. So I like killed a bottle of wine watching that movie. And then a couple days later, I was like, I really couldn't tell you a single plot point from that movie except for
what does it mean that you don't even like, you don't even decide to go back to watch it? I mean,
I didn't like black out. I was just like enjoying some wine. And then I thought back and I was like,
I have movies like that where I'm sober, though. Like, right now, Snyder Cut. Like, if you were to ask me what happened the whole first half of Snyder Cut, I'd be like, I don't know. Slow motion music video sequences.
Yeah. That was 100%.
There was a hot dog.
Sober.
There was a hot dog.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So, speaking of shows that have dragged on far too long, I watched The Walking Dead season finale.
Oh, man. Do tell.
Like, so here's the thing about that show. Part of me, I keep watching because I've invested so much time and I just feel like I need to keep watching it.
Yeah.
Part of me, I keep watching because some of the characters that are still on it, I really do genuinely love. Like, I love Daryl. I love Carol. I love Negan as a character. So I'm still, you know, kind of invested in their character arc and hoping against all hope that Rick and Michonne will come back for the final season.
Oh, yeah.
But this back half, these bonus episodes they made for this season were awful. They were terrible.
Oh, no.
And it was partially because of COVID, so they could only film with a couple people at a time. So they decided to do these like deep dives into the character's psyche and like.
Oh, I remember they used to have those when I would watch it. And sometimes they were really cool and gave you insight, and other times they were so effing boring.
They were. I mean, there was brief moments of goodness, like Robert Patrick showed up and for like one episode with Aaron and Gabriel, and that was kind of fun. And then the new character Princess, who she's kind of crazy and chaotic. You had this almost like Fight Club episode where you discover she's been talking to herself this whole time, and that was kind of fun. But overall, dragged. And then the finale was Negan's whole backstory from the comics.
Okay, with his wife and everything, right?
With his wife and his real life wife, Hillary Burton. She was on it and she played Lucille. And they did a really great job. It was the best episode of this back half for sure.
I have a question. Has Negan and Maggie, have they reunited at any point? And Maggie needs to just spit in his eye and kick him in the nuts, like.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, Maggie came back with her and Glenn's son and ran into Negan, and Carol had to tell her that, I'm the one that let Negan out of jail, like that's on me. And Negan has now kind of become just part of the society in Alexandria, like he's just one of the citizens. And
Jeez.
And it's partially because just so many people have died, and Rick's not there, and Carl's not there, and like so they don't have anybody else.
We've all killed somebody, haven't we?
It's kind
They're
of
all murderers at this point, anyway.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you know, we need to grow tomatoes, so we need someone to dig. Like, so if you can dig, like, then it's fine. But in this last episode, Carol tries to kick him out. She puts him in a cabin out on the like outskirts of town, and she's like, "We'll come bring you food, but don't come back because no one wants you there."
I don't know why this is so funny.
Yeah, well, and she even tells him, she's like, "It's better than you deserve, so like enjoy it." But at the end of the episode, after going through his whole backstory with Lucille, he comes back to Alexandria and is like, "I'm not going anywhere, and like I'm gonna go get my things." And Carol tells him, Maggie's going to kill you, and I'm not going to stop her. I'm not going to get in the way. Good. And he's like, we'll see about that. And then the final scene is he and Maggie kind of just sharing a side eye and setting up a pretty big feud for the final season. So I hope he dies. He deserves to die.
Dude, I hope Maggie doesn't die. I love Maggie so much. And like, that's when I stopped watching the show, is when Glenn died. Like, I knew from the comics that he was going to die. Yeah. And but he was my favorite character in the entire show. Like, I just feel like that show had so many Daryls and so many Ricks on it. Like, it needed a Glenn, you know? And he just, and the way they just like focused on his body for so long in that episode, it was like, this is a character, like a good guy that we all love. Yeah. And
his
like,
body, like, is his shirt off? Is he hot? Like, what I mean?
No, he is.
His eyeballs exploding out of his skull.
Yeah, he gets his head beat in with a barbed wire wrapped baseball bat, and like it shows the whole thing, and like, yeah, his eyeball popping out of his head, his brains being squished on the floor, and I'm just like, if this is like a bad guy, like we all loved watching Joffrey choke to death, you know, like that I could watch over and over again. But I'm just mixing up my shows here and just sprinkling in other TV show references, but that's what we do on this podcast. We all loved watching that. But like, do we have to love watching Glenn? I don't know. I couldn't after that.
See, that's part of what I miss on these newest seasons, not, you know, the death of beloved characters necessarily, but just the action, the violence. Like, I'm not watching a zombie show to watch, people talk to themselves for an hour. Yeah. Like, I want to see some people get their throat ripped out or whatever. Like, it's part of the story. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Next season is the final season. They've already announced a spinoff with Daryl and Carol. So we know they're going to make it out. And we know that Ezekiel has cancer and is not probably going to survive. So that's a death we can pretty much count on. But other than that, a lot is unknown next season, and I'll be like, the lone diehard still watching it till the bitter end.
I'll probably watch the series finale because sometimes I'll do that on shows that I lose interest in, and then once they announce they're having the series finale, I'm like, I'll just watch that one final episode. Watch like the one final episode of this show called Revenge that I used to love years ago, and then
great show.
Yes, oh my god, I loved that show. And then it dragged on too long, and I lost interest. But I ended up watching the finale.
Hi, I'm Hayley the Brave, teacher and mom by day, cosplayer and pop culture junkie by, well, also by day. I'm obsessed with all things fandom, and I love to talk about it. So join me and some of my friends as we geek out about TV, movies, music, and all the awesome things that make life worth living. Listen to my podcast, 30 Nerdy and Thriving, available now on all major streaming platforms.
The main character from Revenge is also on our show, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm.
Emily Van Camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Emily Van Camp was the main character in Revenge. She played Emily / what was her actual name, Nicole?
God, I don't remember. That was so long ago.
I know. She took on like a fake name. It's a whole soap opera thing. Anyway, but yes, she plays Sharon Carter in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yo, Sharon Carter was a beast. I was like, yo, she was hitting it. Like, she was like slicing dudes up left and right. I was like, yo, I need to have her by your side.
I kept being like, Sharon killed a guy. Sharon killed another guy.
She don't take no bull. She don't take no bull. Not even from Sam. Like, my favorite part was when he was trying to be like, I think it was Sam, but he was like, oh, I know what it's like. I was there in your place. And she's like, there's a difference between was and I. I don't mean to give her a deep voice, but that's how I felt.
It was very sensual. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. It brought up some interesting considerations with this superhero world that I hadn't really thought about before. Like the idea of it being easier for Bucky, who killed so many people, to get pardoned than it is for Sharon to get pardoned, And like,
she can't even show her face.
Yeah, she's exiled in this like garbage town, and I don't know. I thought it was interesting because it brings up, like, she's like, oh, the whole superhero thing is just a bunch of crap, and you guys are hypocrites, and she's really negative. And my first reaction to that was like, girl, how dare you? Like, these are the Avengers. Like, what are you doing? But then it's like, this is gonna sound so stupid, but it made me like sit back and be like, like, I need to check my fictional privilege for a second. Like, I'm able to, like, like the Avengers are somewhat privileged because of their status, and she calls them out on it, and I was like, dang, that's bold.
And Sharon Carter is daughter, niece. She's related to Peggy Carter.
She's her niece.
Okay. And Peggy Carter's in the Agent Carter. Right. Yes.
And she's also in Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Endgame, when Steve goes back in time and he lives out his life, and then he comes back and he's an old man, he went back to be with Peggy.
Okay.
Yeah. But he did share a kiss with Sharon in Winter Soldier.
It is very weird.
Yes, I know. Do you guys think that Sharon is the power broker?
Ooh.
Minds are blowing right now.
Couldn't tell you.
Imagine.
Nicole, do you think that Sharon Carter is the power broker?
Yes. 100%.
If she is, then Nicole called it all along, guys.
What is a power broker?
So the power broker is kind of this like overarching main unseen bad guy that seems to be pulling the strings. Is that the best way to describe it, you guys?
Yeah. It's kind of the shady president of this place, Madripoor, where all the like seedy criminals and it's like a lawless, almost like an old like Wild Wild West town, but just like set in the kind of future.
to clear this up for me, is the power broker selling power? Like, because I know there's like these like quote unquote vaccines that are like being like there was just this, I don't know, like is he
I think
selling?
that's what they're trying to figure out right now, because it seems like somebody is mass producing or selling or giving away the super soldier serum, which is how the Flag Smashers, how they seem to be super soldiers now. And it's interesting too, because like their story so far is so sympathetic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And up until this last episode, I know they're obviously killing people and they have some violent ways of achieving their goals, but like I can't find myself hating them, you know?
I thought that until they like blew up that hospital with all the people in it.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I even made the comment to my husband when that happened, where I was like, I see what they did. Like, they set up this whole thing to make these characters really sympathetic and be like, you know, what would it be like to suddenly be put in these camps and everything?
Yeah.
And so it makes you start to feel for them. And then as soon as you're like, oh, then they're like, light people on fire. And you're like, oh.
Are these the same people that wanted life to go back to the way it was before the blip? Okay.
Yeah. That's their goal is and I think I haven't been able to totally piece it together, but at least my kind of understanding is like before the blip, they seem to be like impoverished or like disenfranchised in some way. And then the blip happens, and then it's like they're able to kind of rise up and have access to things that they never had access to before because half of humanity is gone. But then when everybody comes back, like imagine like, you know, if I disappear and someone who's homeless is like, dude, free house, right? And comes and then I come back and I'm like, you're back out on the street. I think that's kind of what has happened is now they're put in these like internment camps basically, like and they're wanting to take it back.
Wow.
Take the power back.
I'm really liking this show so far. Like you said, it makes you think about things and like superhero dynamics and things that you wouldn't think of before. Like what it would really be like to be gone for 5 years and then to come back. And like I was just talking to Andrew about it. I'm like, what do you do if you come back? And it reminds me of like Castaway, where she thinks he's dead and then he comes back and he's still alive and like she's already remarried and moved on. It's like, God, what do I do now? Man. I will say my favorite part of the episode was Baron Zemo dancing.
Yeah. There was something on Twitter was trending #release the Zemo cut. And it was like people asking for an because I guess there's like an extended edition of that long improvised dance sequence and everyone wants to see it.
Let's do it. I want to see it smash cut with Tobey Maguire dancing in Spider-Man 3.
They have the same hairstyle.
Just having a dance off in their dark clothing.
Oh, that's Spider-Man 3 movie, dude. I had blocked that out. That's like
You're welcome.
Wait, did that
You're
happen?
welcome.
That didn't happen.
Oh, we're talking about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 from back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, my God. See, I'm right with you, Haley. I totally
Where he's
forgot
emo Spider-Man.
I blocked it out, dude. Oh my gosh.
Walking down the middle of the street with that corny-ass smile. Oh, my God.
And like one of the black hair.
At least he had the confidence. I was happy for him for that, but bro.
I'll never forget that scene, that dance sequence, and then Topher Grace played Venom in that movie, right? And it's like they didn't want to bother paying for actual good prosthetic teeth or whatever. And so it looks like he's just wearing those like children's Halloween vampire
teeth. Yes.
And he's spitting everywhere and he like can't enunciate his words. I'm like, you had all the money in the world, Sam Raimi, and that's where you decided to cut corners?
Yeah. Man. I couldn't feel like Topher Grace was like a villain, kind of like Jesse Eisenberg in.
Oh, I can't. They're not intimidating in the slightest.
No. I saw when he came up in the Snyder Cut, I was like, that's right, he is in this.
I know. I kind of groaned. I was like, oh, he is Lex Luthor, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know which Lex Luthor I do like? Is the Superman and Lois. I don't think he's Lex.
I do too. Yeah, he's from Supergirl. Oh, shoot. The guy from 3.5 Men.
No, from Superman and Lois.
Is it a different Lex Luthor?
Right?
Than the one on Supergirl?
It is. Yeah. The one on Supergirl is Ducky from Pretty in Pink, who I like. John Cryer.
No. John Cryer, yes.
Yeah.
He's not.
I like him.
Lex Luthor
But
and
it's not him.
Superman and Lois? That's the whole same universe, though.
But this Lex Luthor is from Earth 2. It's from a different Earth.
Yeah.
But I thought that Crisis erased all the multiverse. See, these shows are just too convoluted,
didn't.
man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't
I thought
keep
Superman
up anymore.
and Lois escaped to I don't know. Yeah, it's.
You wonder why I don't watch.
Well, Nicole, though, I saw a meme that made me think about you, about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it was like, I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier for the plot. And then it was like, the plot. And it was just Sebastian Stan, like, with no shirt. I was like, there you go. That's what can keep you tuning in, even if you don't know what's happening. I had a whole debate with my students today in my first hour about Marvel versus DC. It got pretty heated. We covered 0 actual English language content.
But it made
It's
them
literature,
sink
right?
into
You
it
can
more.
you can kind of.
Yeah, much like this conversation, right? You had some people that were like, very invested. And then I had like probably 12 Nicoles that were like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Let's talk about some news from the week. I want to start with Nicole because I heard like a little bit about this, but I want you to give me the Nicole deep dive on the Addison Rae like TikTok stuff going down.
Yes. So Addison Rae is a TikToker with millions and millions and millions of followers. She is one to do like dances on TikTok, but they're not original dances. She finds them on TikTok, whatever, learns them, and then she does them herself. She does give credit to most of the creators. She gives like dance credit quite a bit in her captions to the creators of the dances. And she went on Jimmy Fallon last week. And Jimmy Fallon and her did like a skit where he would hold up signs of a song that had a TikTok dance to it. And then she would start doing the TikTok dance. But there was no credit given to any of the content creators. And people were getting very frustrated over it because a lot of them were Black, Indigenous people of color that created them. And so they were like, you're not giving the people the credit that they deserve. But Belushi came out and said, when you're in the moment and on live television, you don't really have time to do that. But then Jimmy Fallon is now inviting like a lot of the Black, Indigenous, and people of color onto his show who created these dances. He's bringing a bunch of them on to his show
Because people
to
got mad, not because that was his initial idea.
Well, no, I know that's what I'm saying. Like he's bringing them on because people called him out on it, and he's like, okay, well, now we'll bring him on and do the quote unquote right thing when it's like, no, you're only doing it because you got caught and called out.
Man, it's just such like a but it's just like white creators like taking credit for like things that people of color have like.
I mean, Elvis has been accused of that as well. Like this has been something that's been happening for years. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think part of the reason was because Addison Rae. I've heard of Addison Rae. I don't watch her TikToks, but I've recognized the name. So I'm sure she has all her millions of followers probably watching Jimmy Fallon. And I don't know any Black people that watch Jimmy Fallon. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon. So I mean, I think Jimmy Fallon or their like team was probably just trying to get more ratings because their show is probably going down, and just did this this stupid thing. You could just credit people. You just credit people for the art, and
right.
That's all it takes.
Exactly. Like even if they like when he was holding up the signs for her to do the little dances, maybe show on the screen at the bottom just like the TikTok handle of the creators. Like that in itself would have just like, choreography by such and such. But
yeah, his latest show, he brought the original creators together on a big Zoom call and gave them the chance to tell them how they came up with their dance, and then they got to dance. And so, I mean, like, you're right. Like, on the one hand, like, is it better to do that than not do anything at all? Yeah. Absolutely. But it's also like, too little, too late. It's like how many times did this same thing have to keep happening? And I think too, it speaks to the fact that like whatever. I'm no dancer, but watching Addison Rae do the dances and then watching the original people who created those dances, it's night and day, dude.
It's hilarious. I did love those videos of them side by side.
Yeah, she's like the Subway white bread version of these dances, and so it's like it's one thing to not only plagiarize, because that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to plagiarize and to completely copy someone else's stuff, but it's also another thing to be getting all the credit, all the glory for doing a worse knockoff version of the. Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, and to make things better, she drives a pink Tesla.
Of course she does.
Oh my God. I couldn't even pick this chick out of a crowd. I'm sure she's beautiful, but I'm just so...
She is, but...
I don't know.
Yeah, she looks like Taylor Swift to me.
It takes 2 seconds to credit the creator.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't steal work.
Yes,
white people don't steal work from Black, Indigenous people of color, queer people, and
that
not
happens.
give them credit.
Yeah.
Man.
I do want to talk about a juicy little news item. And by the time this comes out, it's been going on for a while, but I can't not talk about it. I am obsessed with Montero, Call Me By Your Name by Lil Nas X. Oh my God. I have been listening to it nonstop and watching the video nonstop.
So,
and
is this song good?
It is so good.
it's not bad.
I only
Is
watched
this the one where he humps
dance.
Satan?
Yes.
That's the only thing I've watched.
All right.
You watch it on mute or something, dude? No sounds required. I just want to watch the action.
He got it his own soundtrack.
Yes.
Sharon in the background.
Oh my gosh.
It's a really good song. It's very just like out and proud, and he's singing to a man, and it's got a great beat, and like it has that breakdown in the end, which is when he breaks it down. Mm-hmm. And he's so funny on like social media. All of his posts, he keeps reposting different memes and things. I think there's like a TikTok trend too. There's like a background where people make their way up to the staircase to heaven, and they're like, "So there are any clubs?" And then you hear just like, "Call me by your name," and like Lil Nas like sliding down the pole, and they're like, "Wait, what was that?"
Oh man, I've seen this one where it's like, what's that game? Minecraft? Yeah. And it's like all these, it's all blocky and stuff. And there's like guys just like walking through his like this like hell looking thing. And there's like a pole all over like in the middle.
I saw that one too.
It goes down and he's like looking. And it's hilarious.
It's so good.
Man.
So Nike did sue Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas released something called the Satan shoe. And it is a shoe that Satan is wearing in the music video, and it's a sick ass looking pair of shoes. But it does have a Nike swoosh on it, and it was not made by Nike. He released 666 pairs of these shoes. Apparently, they have drops of real human blood in the sole. These are some like metal AF shoes, man. Mm-hmm. But Nike sued Lil Nas X over them because he did use the swoosh design on the shoe. And they're not Nikes.
No,
so.
they use Nikes. They used Air Max Nikes and just like you redid them, which is something that people do already. Like there are like artists that like take shoes and paint them over and like sell them. But I mean, like you purchase the shoe, it's your shoe now. I mean, it's still. I think it's because of the whole Nike brand thing and all.
Yeah.
I heard that there were like these Jesus shoes with like holy water, like back in the day. I don't know if Nike sued them. Like,
right, I would be interested to hear that if they sued them, because you're right. Like I could see it from both sides. Like first, if Lil Nas X bought 666 pairs of these shoes, or there's a clothing company that he worked with to make these, and if then they resold them as like an art piece, like that makes sense. And I think they made it clear from the beginning, these aren't actually Nikes. Sure, they have the swoosh on them, but Mr. Nike didn't come and put drops of blood in these shoes. Mr. Nike, I don't know. But in the other end, I'm like, I mean, they got the swoosh on them, copyright, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
I'm just picturing Mr. Nike slicing open his wrist and going, drop, drop, drop.
It's actually somebody that works there.
Was it? I was wondering. I was like, is it Lil Nas X's blood? And how much do you think that person got paid to like sacrifice 3 drops of blood? Someone who's good at math. What's 666 times 3?
1,998.
That's a lot of drops of blood. The trailer for Space Jam 2 New Legacy, I think it's called, dropped with LeBron James. Looks kind of like Ready Player One.
Ready Player One, yeah, with basketball.
Yeah.
This is another trailer I saw on mute. But
Stop watching shit on mute, Alex. What are you doing?
I don't know. I just realized I have a problem. I didn't think until you said something about it.
I've always wondered why they put subtitles like at the bottom of movie trailers. I'm like, who?
Subtitles.
And now I know, dude. It's for you.
Alex. I saw it too. It was cool. I mean, I love the original one. I mean, it was on mute, so I don't really know what was going on. I just saw people go to like different universes, and there were like other like cameos from like other like movies and shows and other like pop culture icons. Yeah. And I think I saw something about, I guess there were some weird cameos like Alex's Droogs from Clockwork Orange.
What?
Weird.
Yeah. And there was people were mad that Alex and his Droogs, who are like known like rapists in Clockwork Orange, in this movie, like on the side, they were pretty much courtside, like just watching the game.
Why are they getting tickets? They should be in jail.
But Pepe
drinking their milk.
Have him there. Yeah,
Weird.
so people are like frustrated because Pepe Le Pew, he's been, they often off the movie.
Yeah.
English.
I mean, Pepe Le Pew should be in jail too if we're talking about fictional character jail.
He's a sexual predator. No, yeah.
He definitely is.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean,
But no, I feel you.
To have Alex and his Droogs in there, that's kind of crazy.
That's stupid.
And
I didn't even notice that.
I did see that LeBron was making a list of like people to potentially join his team, and it was like he's trying to recruit superhero, like he's trying to recruit Superman and stuff, and everybody was getting all mad because they were like, if you want to know who the real GOAT is, let's see the fact that like Michael Jordan beat those aliens with Bill Murray on his team, like he didn't need Superman.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was I like that, but. And then everyone, of course, getting all mad because Lola Bunny isn't like sexualized anymore. I was like, get over your nasty childhood cartoon fetishes.
Like,
That's gross.
Dude, if you were mad that Lola Bunny ain't stacked in like this movie, then you really need to go to therapy or something, honestly. Like, you need to
like you really like sexualize
get laid by a real life human.
Come on. No.
Oh my gosh.
That's what
I'll never understand.
Yeah.
That's what hentai is for. There's things not for our for our movies. Not for our childhood movie.
Not for a movie geared towards children. For the love of all things.
And Zendaya is going to be the voice of Lola Bunny, which I thought
Zendaya?
was Zendaya. Is it Zendaya? Oh, I like her. Yeah, she's the voice of Lola Bunny now.
Yeah, I like her too. I liked her in The Greatest Showman, which I saw 75 times.
Oh,
I saw that
so
one on YouTube.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
I would never even watch The Greatest Showman.
He watched it on mute. He watched it on mute.
an entire 2-hour musical on mute.
Highly recommend watching it.
With the sound on.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. You talk about karaoke and bringing it full circle. I will sing The Greatest Showman.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no alcohol needed. No inebriation at all.
Okay, but we're going to do it anyway because this is going to be part of our party where we drink all the celebrity alcohols and have our goth safe space club in your living room.
Yes.
And then we'll transition into The Greatest Showman.
Don't forget the daycare. I do need a daycare.
That's where The Greatest Showman comes in, dude. My kids love it, so just put it on in the back room. They'll be into it.
This is awesome.
Actually, speaking of music, you ever heard of those? No, that's what I call music.
Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with those. Yeah.
So I ran into one that recently came out, and it's called "That's What I Call Dad Rock," and it's like this track list of like 50 songs, and there's like things from like "We Will Rock You" by Queen, "Mr. Brightside" by The Killers,
Dad Rock.
Yeah, Dad Rock. There's "Complicated" by Avril Lavigne.
Dad Rock? What? You said Dad Rock, and I thought it was going to be a bunch of Matchbox 20 and Nickelback, and I was like, this sounds like my hell, honestly.
They probably have. It's like songs like from rock from the 80s, even up to like early millennium. So, yeah,
I absolutely hate that Imagine Dragons and The Killers are on a playlist called Dad Rock alongside like Lynyrd Skynyrd and Meatloaf. Who compiled this?
Alex, you're a dad. Are you getting down?
To some of these songs. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was like, "Ooh, this is made for me." Like, dad life. I'm new to it, and in the beginning, I'd be like, "Yeah, we will rock you." Yeah, that's energetic. I feel like a dad, But
gonna rock this diaper change.
Yeah, exactly. I sing to my son when I change his diaper. I sing to him when I feed him. I sing to him when I come up.
Here's the thing, though. Let's examine the lyrics to Mr. Brightside, where he's taking off her dress. Right? And calling a cab, right? Like,
hey man, that's how he became the dad.
Actually, now I am concerned as to who put this together.
I was listening to this in the car with their kid. I don't know.
I mean, I sang WAP to my infant nephew, and I think he's going to be okay.
Jeez.
Actually, I got in a fight with somebody about that song, WAP, and Pepe Le Pew, and I was like, because people are trying to cancel Pepe Le Pew.
Oh my God, apples to oranges. Like, it's about consent, people. See, I could go off on a rant.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, Cardi B is all consent. Pepe Le Pew is a children's character.
Thank you.
What? Anyways, I digress.
We'll rein in our rants. Whew. I have a lot inside of me, guys.
Oh,
all
man.
right.
Something else that really.
You want to know what else grinds my gears? We'll have a side podcast.
Yeah, we'll grind.
Now that's what I call the Dad Podcast, where we just talk about stuff that annoys us and tell kids to get off our lawn.
All right. Well, I always love hanging out with you guys and adding to our plans for this super extravagant party we're going to have. So, where can all the people find you?
If you want to find all of us, just go to popculturejunkie.com. And that's where you can find us and our Pop Culture Junkie links to all the other social media that we have out there. But if you want to meet Alex virtually through past moments in his life, you can visit his Instagram and Twitter at ALCASNUN. That's Al Casnoon.
You could find me at Nicole_Eldridge on Instagram and NAEldridge14 on Twitter.
And you can find me, Hayley, at 30 Nerdy Thriving on Instagram and 30 Nerdy Pod on Twitter and the 30 Nerdy and Thriving Podcast.
Awesome. And you can find me, Shauna, at Shauna Trinidad, SHAUNA TRINIDAD, on Twitter and on Instagram. And as Alex said, please go to the Pop Culture Junkie website, just popculturejunkie.com, and that's where you can find the links to all of our social media. Please like, download, subscribe to our podcast wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Make sure that you leave us those glowing reviews because we like to read them and they make us happy. Yay, serotonin. Ha ha ha.
That sounded like Elmo.
Yeah, it did.
On that note, think about our creepy laughter until next week and love you all. Bye.
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 Peace.
Pop Culture Junkie is a production of Pop Culture Entertainment Group. All rights reserved.